What's going on, guys? Here we are, day number 42 of the bulk, and we're feeling good. The Browns got a big victory today. Kareem Hunt punched it across the goal line for the dub. That always feels terrific. Really gives a boost to the Sunday when the Browns win. Love to see that. Other than that, pretty good weather outside. Is heating up a little bit more. Probably about 80 degrees now, which not my favorite, but it's better than 90. So we take the wins where we can get them. As far as myself, I've been feeling just a tad, like a smidge under the weather. And I think this could be playing or have played a role in the last few days, not being as intense as I want them to have been. And I know that I've been teasing a big announcement coming up, but with this little bit of a sickness, I don't want to jump the gun too much. So we might delay that by a couple days just so I can hit the ground running full speed. But we'll see. We're going to go in the gym today. We're going to hit back. We're going to do a lighter back day, probably about 2 movements per body part. See how I feel. And if I feel good after the workout, I feel good post-workout, then we'll move forward. If not, we'll give it a few days until I have my full strength and, I'm recovered from whatever that is, just a little bug or whatever, and we'll move on from there. But I am excited for the announcement. I wish I could say it after this workout today, depending on how I feel, because I do feel just a little bit sick, and I don't want to go into it with any type of a sickness. So if we have to delay it a day, 2 days, 3 days, not that big a deal, right? So regardless, I am switching my split up. I would be hitting legs tomorrow. Either way, I'm going to hit legs tomorrow. And then it's going to go chest, tries, back, buys, legs again, shoulders, arms, off. So that's the new split. As far as the announcement, it's coming. You'll have to stand by and see when we're ready to really break that all down for you guys. But as for now, I'm going to go in the gym. I'm going to give it all I got. I'm going to drink my pre-workout. I'm going to hope I have energy. If not, we'll just take it a little bit easier, but still get some work in, still get some stimulation of the muscle, and just see how we feel. Play it by ear. So without further ado, we will see you in the gym. What's going on, guys? We're back here with another voiceover of the workout today. Here you see me doing some lat pull downs, and I started with a lighter weight for warm up around 130, and then I worked in working sets with 190. And as you can see from this workout, it is a bit of lower volume than what we're accustomed to, and that's for good reason. And not to spoil anything that's coming up in the post-workout clip, but it was for a deload. So we were deloading. We wanted to do less volume. And there's several reasons that go into deciding when to deload and what to do when you deload. Generally, you want to do a little bit less volume, keep the weight around the same, and, just decrease your frequency as well. So this was less volume. I'm doing the lat pull down here, and what we're working on is the width of our back, particularly the area right under the armpit, as you can see here. It's also what pull-ups work. We want to do these slow and controlled and ensure that we have full range of motion, especially at the top of the movement, because when you fully extend the lat and then you pull it down, even, with force from the rest of your body, you're getting that much more hypertrophy because it's working muscles that you're not working when you're in the middle of the movement. That's why full range of motion is so important, especially for these, because it is a movement in which we are hyper specific in the area that we want to target. So here we're doing 190. It's the working set. And, for the middle of the working sets, I know most of you guys know, but I 2x speed so you don't have to sit through the entire set. I know some of the form police were trying to get on me for ego lifting on my curls. Well, they looked like that because the film was in 2x speed. So, regardless, we did 4 working sets here, I believe, at this weight, and we were feeling it. We were pumped after this. This was enough for the width, but we wanted to do just one more exercise for the width. So next, we moved into close grip pull down. So here are the close grip pull downs. What I'm working here is not so much the area below the armpit, but we're moving a little bit down and a little bit towards the middle on each side and working the area right underneath the scapula. And if you've ever done these or completed this exercise, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And what's important here, at least for the first half of each set, you want to pull it straight down. Now, if you watch my sets, yes, towards the end, I'm starting to use some momentum and I'm pulling a little bit more towards my chest rather than straight down. That's fine at the end of the set because what you're doing by exaggerating the reps, for lack of better terms, is you are recruiting muscle fibers that aren't being recruited in the first half of the set, allowing for a more complete and developed back through this just one exercise. So as you can see, again, I'm going full range of motion, ensuring that I'm really getting the stretch and then the contraction at the bottom. Yes, towards the end, I'm starting to lean back and pull with my entire back, which is fine because we have those reps in the beginning to really hit right under the scapula. And what you need to think about when you're completing each exercise, each set, is every rep in and of itself is a set. Because I know that you guys have probably experienced the fact that you get a couple good reps that you really feel the muscle stretch and squeeze. That is the majority of the work of the entire set. There's usually 1, 2, 3 reps in there that feel the most extreme. What we forget is every one of the reps can feel that extreme. And when they do is when you'll really start to transform your body. So moving on, we're hitting the back still, but now we're moving on to a thickness exercise. And in this workout, I hit width first and then thickness. I have been hitting thickness first, but wanted to ensure, especially with this lower volume, that the width part of my back was exercised as much as possible. So then I moved on to thickness. I'm starting to work the entire back. This exercise is really for the area around the rib cage. So if you took, your fingers and wrapped it around your ribs and then pulled it to where your palms would touch in your back, that's kind of the motion that we want to make when we're pulling. And that is what we're thinking about when we're pulling. We're thinking about our rib cage and the muscles that wrap around it. And every single rep, we're feeling those muscles work. So what's impeccable, it's truly important, is you feel your muscles work. If you're doing any exercise, any exercise in the entire gym, and you don't feel your muscle working, or you got to ask yourself, what muscles am I working in this exercise? Bad exercise for you. You should throw that one out and do something different. And it's a little bit different because at the beginning of your workout journey, sometimes you're going to do exercises and not know what muscle you're trying to connect with, or not have a good, strong mind muscle connection with that exercise. And it's going to take some repetitions to really hammer that in. But, if you do an exercise 2, 3, 4 times over, a month, 2 months, and you're not feeling that mind-muscle connection, it might just not be a good exercise for you, and you're going to want to move on to one that you have a better mind-muscle connection with. Because when we're trying to build tissue, it's all about feeling the muscle break down and then rebuilding it with food. So if you're never truly feeling the muscle break down, you're just not going to transform. You're going to look the same. And you see this in the gym all the time, unfortunately. So next we're getting into the upper part of the back. So we're working the traps here, and you can see just in my shirt line, right underneath the shirt line, it's the trap muscle. That's what these are working. And now this is all in 2 times speed. I did this entire, exercise, the 4 working sets that I did, in 2 times speed, just so we could speed through it a little bit for the video. But as you can see here, it's 30 total reps per set. I'm doing 15 underhand. I drop it and then do 15 overhand. And the most important point or tip in this exercise is every time you shrug, so I'm sitting on a box and the bar is coming up to my hamstring. Every time I'm making sure I'm pressing, or I guess in this case, pulling the bar against the hamstring in order to ensure that I'm getting the isometric. It's hitting the muscle in just one other fashion in order to stimulate growth even further. So this is implementing a little bit of an isometric, just a little bit. The load is mostly from the weight in the hands, but if you implement this one little trick, you'll see yourself grow. It'll make a difference, I promise. And so last exercise here for the back, we are hitting the rear delt, and you can see it through my shirt. It's the idea here is to separate the scapulas and then contract them. And as you can see here, I'm really trying to emphasize that. And the muscle you're working is just on top of the scapula, a little bit towards the outside. It is the rear delt. And what you want to do on this is really, it's like anything else. Feel the muscle, but what I like to think on this is taking my shoulder blades and pulling them apart and then pulling them back together and allowing my arms to just go along for the ride. Of course, you're going to be pushing with your arms. You're going to be feeling that a little bit, but in your mind, and this is the part that I really want to get through to you, it's the intention that you approach each exercise with. If you approach each exercise with the right intention, that's when you will start to grow. If you do it haphazardly and you just say, okay, I'm hitting this exercise because it's on my plan, or I'm supposed to hit this exercise, you'll grow over time, but it won't be targeted like we want it to be as an aesthetic bodybuilder, and it'll take much longer. So moving on here, this is what I'm finishing up with. It's biceps, and we're doing my favorite movement first. I started with 40s. I then moved up to 45s because truthfully, 40s just weren't heavy enough for me to feel stimulated. So I did the first set with 40s. We did 4 total working sets. And what I'm working here, it's truly a full bicep movement because we are getting the twist in there. But particularly, we want to think about the peak, which occurs at the top. So each contraction, we want to be felt maximally. The stretch is, for lack of better terms, secondary. Now, what I found for biceps, and biceps used to be one of my weakest muscle groups. Now they're turning into one of my stronger ones. Is it's all about the contraction. Yes, it's nice to feel the stretch, but truly you're going to build the most muscle in the contraction. What we don't do often, or what we often forget, is the contraction. We're so focused on the stretch, and the stretch is where you're going to make probably 55% of the gains. But if you're only focused on the stretch, you're only ever going to make 55% of gains. If you focus on the contraction, which is the smaller part and really the harder one to focus on, you'll get 40% of the stretch, 40% of the contraction. Now we're looking at 80% rather than 55%. Now, if you get into a more advanced lifter category, you can maximize both of them. You can start to think of both the stretch and the contraction. Now we're working with 95, approaching 100% of what the potential gains could be if we do the exercise exactly perfect every single rep, which is what we're striving for. And once you get to lifting more often, you lift and lift and lift and lift. You do these exercises. You find out what exercises are your favorite, what are the best, what are the ones that allow you to feel the most stimulation. Now you start to work with that 95 to 100%, and you start to see differences in your physique. So this is the bread and butter here, folks. You got to train hard. Training is the most important part of becoming the physique that you see in a magazine, that you want in your head. The training is the most important part. Yes, diet is not far behind. Yes, rest, recovery, supplementation is not far behind. But if you don't properly train and stimulate your muscles, all will be for naught. So it all ties together, but you have to ensure that you're intense, going hard, and doing your training correctly. So here we go. Last exercise here. We're doing scoops, and this is another contraction-based exercise. So I'm not going extremely heavy. It's only 70. It is up from what I have been doing, but the purpose of this exercise is not to push the weight. It's to push the contraction. So you want to lean forward. You want to keep your elbows where they are, and you want to think about squeezing your biceps. So you can do this right now. Listen to the video. Pin your elbows to your side. Lean forward just a little bit, and focus on squeezing your biceps, just pulling your biceps up, scooping them almost in a scoop motion. If you do that, I promise you'll feel a contraction. You do that often enough, your biceps will grow. And I wanted to add a little bit more of intensity
to this final set. Reason being, I knew I was going to take, and this is a little bit of a spoiler into what you're about to hear, a few days off, a deload. This is a deload, so I knew I was going to take a few days off. Want to ensure I exhausted the biceps completely, especially because the volume was low. So I finished the regular scoop with just some standing wide grips, which focuses more on the stretch, and my biceps were already, had enough. They're pumped. And, adding on the extra 12 reps, so 24 reps in this set, more than enough. We felt good, and that is another pool day. Thank you.
What's going on, guys? We're back. I'm coming to you the next day. We're the day after that pool workout you just witnessed, and an incredible workout. Really felt the muscle working, got a great pump, and didn't even need that much volume. As you saw, that was the lowest amount of volume I've done probably throughout the bulk, and it's with good reason, because for a programming note, you guys have seen the last few days, last week or so, my performance has been hindered just a little bit, and what that usually means is it's time for a deload. So today, which is Monday, tomorrow, and subsequently the next day, Wednesday, I'm taking off from the gym. I'm still gonna do some cardio. I'm gonna go for some walks, maybe at the sauna once or twice, but as for the gym, not going in. I'm going to take a deload, allow my body really to reset and give myself a breather. And it comes at a great time because, and this is the announcement, the thing that I've been teasing here for the last few days, we are starting a new challenge. Yes. A new challenge. You guys saw the Blitz. The Blitz was 10 days of mayhem where I went balls to the wall in a cutting phase to really get the last bit of fat off of my body. But as you know, right now we're in a bulk. We're trying to gain some size. That's not changing. We're staying in a bulk. We're staying in a caloric surplus. But what is changing, and what the announcement is we are starting the performance series. So we're going to do, I think it's going to be 26 days of a performance series. And I'm going to put out a video outlining exactly what this is going to be, giving you the nitty gritty, the details of these 26 days. But it starts on Thursday, which will be Friday for you guys because I do everything the day before, edit, and then post the video. But we're doing 26 days. It's kind of like a race to Thanksgiving. And we're going to put the pedal to the metal. And it's called the Performance Series. So you guys know it's going to take some performative feats for me to accomplish it. We're going to be pushing the body, challenging ourselves in a way that, yes, I've been doing throughout the bulk, but it's been so purely, like without anything else. It's been to gain tissue, size, mass. But now I want to re-emphasize the performance aspect of my training. So we're going to be doing a few different things. I'll let you guys know the entirety of it, but in its simplest form, it's going to be a more structured, higher disciplined approach. It's going to be very formulaic around the schedule. The workouts will be a little bit different. As you guys know, I'm switching the split up a little bit. I'm going to alter that some to allow myself more time to hit each muscle directly and also not spend as much time in the gym. Just a logistical thing, but the whole challenge is going to have some differences logistically, and that's pretty much the point. Not only do we want to ramp up the performance in the gym, we want to ramp up our performance outside the gym and the things that we do in the real world in the time that we're not training. So it's going to involve things like waking up early every day. There's going to be a set time we wake up. There's going to be set intervals of cardio, like a little bit like we've done on the Blitz. It's going to be a strict diet regimen. I'm still going to be in a surplus, but it's going to be a lot more, regimented. So it's going to be fun. You guys are going to see all of it. We'll do day 1 through 26. And I'm going to do a separate video outlining all of it. But I wanted you guys to know first here on YouTube with this announcement. It's a big announcement. We're going to maybe implement some other things outside of bodybuilding to get you guys a little bit more content. We'll see where we go with everything. But as I said, I will outline the entire thing on Wednesday for me, it'll be Thursday for you. So Thursday for you guys, I'll drop a video that outlines the entire performance series. So that's what we're calling it. It's the performance series part 1. We did the blitz part 1. We did the bulk part 1. And now we're performance series part 1. And the plan is, once I finish the performance series, I'll go back to bulking like I am now. So we'll have the bulk part 2. Maybe we put another performance series after that, but that's thinking too far into the future. But you know, after that, we're coming back to the cut. We're going to chisel down the marble, and we're going to show why we're becoming the absolute best. So you guys are getting it all here firsthand, first look, day by day. And I'll walk you through what it's going to look like every single part of the challenge, and it's going to be fun. And I would love, if you're interested, to join along. This is not like the blitz. This is one that you can jump on and do so safely. We're going to regiment our diet. We're going to regiment our schedule. We're going to implore ourselves to be as disciplined as possible, leading into the ultimate day of feast, which is Thanksgiving. Couldn't be better. I'm excited, and it's going to be a classic. So you guys get ready. We're still going to get the weightlifting videos. We're going to give you access, behind the scenes footage to everything. And like I said, there might even be an extra special treat along with it. And the basis or goal of the whole thing is to up our performance in life. Be better in every facet, every dimension that we live in. So I want to ramp things up. I want to get things going. I've been, trying to get into, I've been approaching a bear's hibernation mode, and I think that that's a plateau I need to just spring past, because I have been gaining weight. I have been gaining lean tissue for sure. I've been gaining some fat mass as well. That's what happens when you bulk, especially as I've been bulking. But I've liked the ratio. I like that I've kept my shape, and I know if I chisel down right now, I would look absolutely incredible. But that's the point, one, of bodybuilding. You have to be patient. There's phases for a reason, and there's going to be times where you don't look like a Greek god. You don't look like Michelangelo's statue, because you're putting on that marble that we're going to chip away at in the coming months. But you got to be patient. It's a long game. We play the long game. And we win. If you don't quit, you win. That's the secret of life, guys. But we're starting new things. We're going to start some new things up. And I guess that's another announcement. You guys will get that separate announcement on Thursday for you, Wednesday for me. And then Thursday, the challenge starts. It'll be Friday for you guys. But we're going to end October strong, fire through the month of November, and get to Thanksgiving and eat as much as we can, as much as we physically can on Turkey Day, baby. So that's the plan. Love you guys. Thank you for watching. Every time that you tune in, I truly appreciate it. Every time you leave a comment, I truly appreciate it. Even a like, it keeps me going, keeps me active, keeps me motivated to pump out content for you guys. Because one thing I know is, regardless of anything else, if I started this YouTube or not, I would be going just as hard in the journey, maybe even harder, who knows? But every time I see you guys like something, leave a comment, positive or negative, even the hateful stuff is a great motivator. Any type of interaction with you guys really gets me fired up. I like it, and I'm appreciative of it. So again, thank you guys. We're gonna grind. This is gonna be incredibly fun. It's going to be hard, and it's going to transform the body, and you guys will see every step of the way. So once again, thank you guys. We'll see you in a few days.